Alright everybody, remember if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you want, I appreciate it, thanks. I should have known that there was going to be haters that don't actually watch the video, but I guess I will tell myself that it gives me another excuse to show how ridiculous people are and how corrupt the overly radical LGBTQ have become. Listen, in my video, I said if I were a LGBTQ person, I also would be trepidatious about going to a predominantly Muslim country, Islamic country, whatever you want to call it. I think the fear is justified. Now, what I'm getting at is the fact that you have no moral high ground. Okay? You're afraid that something is going to happen to you in this predominantly Muslim or Islamic country, right? While the overly radical LGBTQ, despite what this guy is saying, I mean, he just goes to show you, oh, some gay dudes made fun of you once. What? I have had stalkers. I have been harassed for years. Years on end. We've showed how long, over 20 years in the video game community. Okay? We have people, oh, nothing bad would ever happen to you, Clayton, at a tournament. People still joke about leaving me for dead at a tournament where I was sick. I collapsed. They left me for dead and stole my stuff. It's very funny to people. They still joke about it. People openly wish death on me, posting pictures of me after radiation, on oxygen, to this day, years on end. People get banned if you say anything positive about me on various social media platforms. You are not allowed to say anything good about Clayton or you will be banned. You must openly wish death on me. We have showed this for years. You think it's safe for me? I mean, I guess, when I collapsed, I guess, were they jacking me off? I mean, I don't care. Hey, we're jacking you off, Clay. Are you kidding me? Listen, I know I'm a little bit more cultured than you nerds that have only played video games, that live in this little bubble. Only played video games, have never seen the world, okay? You live in a fake... Motherfuckers have fake fantasy, as if you're like writing a fucking RPG or a fan fiction. Oh, I'm writing a fan fiction in AD 1300. Clayton's evil ancestor, Sir Charlie Clayton, I don't know, whatever, destroyed the world. Now we must always hate him or some shit, right? Okay? Listen. I've said before, the LGBTQ has become the very fucking thing they say they hate. Right? They are a cult now. They are a religion. Okay? They have used something that is supposed to be for good, has now been used for evil. The LGBTQ is like a protected, it's like treated like it's an endangered species in the FGC, this ether. If we're considering, say, a Muslim country or something like this, say the FGC has become this weird fucking cult-like fucking society where you must give credit to all LGBTQ members for doing nothing. How many LGBTQ members have actually been caught scamming the community for money? And yet you can't really do anything about it. We showed how many people have openly harassed me, right? No one cared when that happened. I mean, that Sefer guy, the only reason he actually got exposed is because he started scamming other LGBTQ members, so then they canceled him. But no, it didn't matter what happened to Clayton. We saw Charmander recently. You are not allowed to say anything good about Clayton or else you will be banned. Dude made up a fake heart condition. Now they've come out that they have a split personality just to save themselves. Oh, well, now I'm LGBTQ, so it's okay. So they can't be prosecuted, okay? It's ridiculous. Insanity. Okay, listen. There's a lot of bad things that happen in Muslim countries. But if we're to think that religion, just like the LGBTQ, let's say that from a certain foundational perspective, the idea is that you want to show acceptance in the world. You want to make the world a better place. Let's say that's what religion is, or the LGBTQ. Now, there's a lot of bad things, though, that happen because of religion in Muslim countries. Trust me. It's not only LGBTQ people that bad things happen to in Muslim countries. Do you know the rights that women have in some Muslim countries, especially some of these overly radical things? Have you ever seen, I don't remember the name, that one girl that she danced without a hijab or whatever it is, and a bunch of people raped her and killed her? That's pretty fucking terrifying. So don't misunderstand like I am naive to the fact that bad things happen in Muslim countries. I'm actually a little bit more worldly than you that only live in this fake video game world, right? Okay. Now, not every Muslim country is quite that bad as that story, right? But certainly women don't always have as many rights, right? You know, and even some of the Muslim countries, you know, some women are treated well, but they're almost like princesses in castles and they can never leave a castle, right? But we would try to say that, you know, there are good things about Islam, right? Just like we would say there are some good things about Christianity, whatever you want to say, right? But guess what? A lot of wars have also been caused because of Christianity. A lot of people have died, right? We would say that the LGBTQ probably, on some level, is supposed to be a good thing. But as it has become more overly radical and extreme, and it has been given free reins over a very specific fighting game community to do whatever they want. I mean, this motherfucker right here apparently leaving me for dead at a tournament isn't real. I've only been harassed by a couple gay people ever in my life. Whoa, okay, sure, dude. No one has ever done what I've done in fighting games for tech-wise and all this kind of shit. You know, I've actually thought, I didn't even know people like Desk were watching my old shit. I didn't realize he was in the fucking threads. Like I said, I saw that video recently. How many fucking content creators have made their careers off of what I have taught the video game community since I've been a kid? Do you know any LGBTQ member who has been dying and has helped the community like I have? Of course you fucking don't, because it's not possible. They don't even have the ability to do it in the first place. Motherfuckers are making up excuses that are just insane, right? Okay? So on some level, the LGBTQ, yes, they're supposed to be good. There's a good idea there from a certain level, right? But it's become overly radicalized. It's full of evil people doing evil things. Yes, there are evil things from Islam and Muslim. Yes, there are evil things from Christianity. And guess what? The LGBTQ now does evil things themselves. It is no longer just a good thing, right? Just like, again, religion. Religion, you would think that there's some foundational good stuff. That's not me saying all Muslim people are bad. I have some Muslim friends. You know, some Muslim people have been very generous with me, right? They've been very kind to me. Just like I know Christian people. Some Christian people are very kind. There's also some evil people. But guess what? The LGBTQ is now overly radicalized, right? You're talking about, let's say you get a Muslim person in America, right? There are Muslim people in America. People think they aren't free. Guess what? Go to another country. Guess what? It's all the fucking same thing. In America, it's a hot pot of all different sorts of cultures and religions, right? There's Muslim people in America. Now, not all Muslim people are overly radical, you would say. You might say that in some of these, you know, countries, right, that you are referring to, or the video was referring to, it might be more likely to find a overly radical, let's say, Muslim. Guess what? The FGC is now full of this overly radical LGBTQ. that is dangerous and openly wish death on people. Do whatever they can. Stalk people, harass people. They do. There's no moral high ground here. You're making some argument that like, oh yeah, the FGC, America has really let down the FGC LGBTQ members. No, they haven't. They've given them free rein for doing nothing. I gave the challenge. Please, show me. I want to see all these LGBTQ members do something good. What have they actually done to make the world better? What have they done to make the FGC better? They have openly conspired, wished death on me. The person that has helped the community more than anyone else ever has, at least tech-wise, right? Can you prove that wrong? Of course you can't. That's why so many people try to cancel me, because you can't even keep up with me. One single person, me, done more than all you fucking guys combined. You should be lucky that I've done all this tech and video games, because guess what? You motherfuckers have profited off of it. What did I get out of it? Okay? So yes, the LGBTQ has no moral high ground here against a overly radical Muslim, right? Because the majority of the LGBTQ in this ether of the fighting game community is overly radical now. They have taken something that is supposed to be good and it is used for evil over and over again. Do you think that an LGBTQ person has never killed anybody before? Do you think that if the LGBTQ was actually, and I know people want to act like this is, again, you're giving people a gold star nowadays. You're actually encouraging people to this mental fucking illness thing, right? That's not me saying being transgender is ill. That's not me saying being gay is a mental illness or something like that. Because of course there is a minority of people who are legitimately probably have a biological problem. Let's say they were, this sounds kind of crude, but let's say born in the wrong body. Let's say, that's kind of crude. Maybe not the best way to say it, right? But of course, there are some people that, do have that quotation marks, let's say, problem, right? But I've also said, I know that one girl, the famous girl, whatever, she was very feminine as a boy, right? You know what I mean? She said that she was so feminine, even when she goes to these LGBTQ things, that she has been harassed because she's been seen as not actually the same struggle as them because she's so feminine. Even when she was a guy, she's already more feminine, right? She's more feminine than some quotation marks, real girls, let's say. Right? But because of that, she was hated, cannibalized, so to speak, by her own fucking people that supposedly love her. The community that supposedly loves everybody. Right? But the LGBTQ now, instead of for this minority of people who maybe are legitimately transgender, now you're allowed to say that, oh, I'm going to be a girl today. I'm going to be a boy today. Oh, I'm going to be a frog today. Oh, look at that one girl. I told that girl, I knew that girl in real life. She used to be someone that I thought was one of the more reasonable LGBTQ members, right? And she had told me that she had stopped going to pride parades because she was being assaulted at them. But she wasn't allowed to talk about it because she's like, well, some people do hate us, so I don't want to talk about it. Guess what? Motherfucker went off the deep end. Started telling me some story one day about how, Clayton, you can't prove we're not frogs. That we're learning about sexuality more and more every day, and you're going to find out that we're frogs one day. I might be a frog. You can't prove that. And she started telling some real weird story that, I let people choose my gender every day as long as they tell me they're not a Republican. What the fuck does that even mean? That's a mental illness. And then she started telling me that basically, Clayton, you're not allowed to talk about being harassed by LGBTQ people either. You have to take it. She wanted me to be harassed by saying that. Are you kidding me? You're not allowed to talk about being harassed by an LGBTQ person, Clayton. You have to take it because, some people don't like us. That's a cult, dude. That's a fucking cult. And just like I would like to assume that not every Muslim person is actually fucking overly radical and evil, and I would assume, pray, you know what I mean? I do know Muslim people, not everyone is like that, but, be like, hey, not everyone thinks that, you should go fucking kill a person for being gay. You know what I mean? That's the overly radical thing, right? But now this overly radical LGBTQ is what has taken hold. Is just American culture in general. They're trying to push this propaganda. Like, oh, you can just change your gender all the time. Reality doesn't even matter anymore. You've taken something that's supposed to be understanding and now using it for evil. Motherfucker's getting a gold star for doing nothing. It's disgusting. You're evil. For you writing this, you are evil. I would not be surprised if this motherfucker, guess what? If we were to go, I always say people like this, when you give people such free reign to do evil, when you can openly wish death on people, joke about leaving people for dead, joke about how, if you lie about Clayton, it will make you money. All of this stuff is good. What is to stop people like this if we were to assume a society that just grew bigger and bigger and the LGBTQ literally became a religion, which is trying to be? Do you think, and then you have some sort of, say you have a Muslim state, you have a LGBTQ state. Do you not think that LGBTQ people would be super open about trying to kill people if you were against them? You don't think that would happen with the way that you motherfuckers act? You already openly wish death on people. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. You openly wish death on people because they did more than you in a video game and they helped you while they were dying in a hospital. But you hate them because, Clayton, while you're dying in the hospital, please give me all the tech that you're doing and make sure that after you get out of the hospital, I want you to have sex with me. Do you realize some of the weird fucking messages I get? Are you kidding me? Motherfucker, oh, well, 2 gay people were mean to you ever. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Again, just like religion is supposed to be something that's good, right? Just like the LGBTQ is supposed to be good, guess what? A lot of this stuff is now being used for evil. Religion has been used for multiple wars. The LGBTQ, this is basically fucking like a sort of social war. You gotta bow down to people who just change their gender every day. It's fucking disgusting. Can you remember that one motherfucker that was talking about how they're internationally known for their beauty? They were supposedly transgender. Oh, guess what? They're not really transgender. They just identify as being transgender. Is that not insulting to a person that has actually had to go through the surgery? You got people, oh, Muslims and, what was that one thing? Oh, God. That might be a little bit too evil to say. That one might be, I don't know, maybe I should bite my lip on that a little bit. The point is, the LGBT, God, you talk about just even think about I say this, delicately, even think about growing up, sexuality wise, right? And I always think this is so crazy. Sexuality wise, growing up, remember growing up and you had to go through sex ed? And God, I think I had sex ed the first time in 5th grade or something like that, right? And even at that age, and then maybe it was a few years later, whatever, when puberty started to hit me, let's say. And of course, guys happens to a little bit later than girls. Girls might start thinking about sex earlier when they go through puberty, whatever it is. But whatever the case, just think 5th grade, first time you hear about what sex is, or at least I did. I don't know, right? And I'm like, whoa, I'm never going to do that. And then you have this overly radical LGBTQ who want to promote talking about being gay, sex changes, and all this kind of stuff with kids even younger than that. I mean, don't you think you've gone a little bit too far? Don't you think you can see there's some propaganda going on? You can't talk about what sex is until you're a fucking 5th grade and then they do it in middle school. But you're going to talk about kids earlier than that actually talking to them about sex. sex changes and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a little bit weird, dude. It's a little bit weird. And you know what? It sucks for the minority of people that actually are legitimately transgender, right? That's a terrible thing. It sucks. But guess what? That's still the minority, right? It's not the norm. As you try, everyone goes through thinking about they're a boy or a girl every day. Oh, shit, you can change your gender all the time. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, motherfucker, you prove that you're fucking evil. Just like all these other people. I'm reading these stupid comments. It's ridiculous. You have no moral high ground. Yes. You deserve to be afraid. To be trepidatious about going to a overly radical, let's say, not that all Muslim countries are overly radical, but of course there could be overly radical people, you know. You deserve to be trepidatious about going to these places. It's understandable. Because guess what? A lot of people don't like you. Especially with how overly radical you yourself are. You yourself are, who openly wish death on people who, if they don't accept you. Like, whoa, okay, dude. You can't have it both ways. You can't wish death on people and then be like, oh, well, you don't like me, even though I'm wishing death on you. Anyway.